I'm joined from Israel by former Israeli ambassador to the United States, former deputy minister in the government, Dr. Michael Oren, historian par excellence, also a paratrooper in his past life. Dr. Oren, I know you don't get involved in American politics, but you know, the JCPOA, the wake goes on. Everyone in America and the Democratic Party continues to mourn the deal that ought never to have been signed, that wasn't working. But when you heard Joe Biden say it was working, what was your reaction?
You know, again, Hugh, the last thing I want to do is get involved in internal American politics. But when I hear Joe Biden, that's all of the Democratic candidates, John Kerry coming out now and writing, Ben Rhodes, all writing that this deal was working, that it installed a mechanism that would prevent Iran from getting a bomb, that it provided a basis for international diplomacy to stop Iran's quote-unquote malign behavior. Hugh, it's all a huge lie. And it's a huge and dangerous lie. And because my country's future is at stake, my family's future is at stake, I can't keep quiet about it. I cannot. I mean, just the fact that Iran now, today, Rouhani, the president of Iran, came out and said that they are enriching more uranium than before the deal. What happened to all the dismantling of the Iranian centrifuges and the nuclear sites? The inspections, according to Israeli security officials, are a joke. And it didn't stop Iran from developing ballistic missiles to carry nuclear weapons. It didn't get rid of their nuclear blueprints for atomic bombs. And the worst thing about it, working because maybe nobody in America is getting killed right now, but tens of thousands of people in the Middle East, including just 2-hour drive from where I'm talking to you, have been killed as a result of this agreement, because it provided the money and the legitimacy for Iran to conquer the Middle East, to depress its own people, and believe me, there was no international diplomacy to stop it. Zero.
Now, Dr. Oren, I try to explain to everybody that there is a propaganda effort in the United States run by Ben Rhodes in the echo chamber to try and continue to put lipstick on this pig of a deal, because it was an absolute disgusting deal. However, we now also have the National Iranian American Council, NIAC, which is joined in the propaganda effort. And I don't think we can say as often as we need to that this deal not only wasn't work, it could never have worked, because it did not control their ballistic missile program, their export of terror. And in fact, they used those ballistic missiles to attack Americans with lethal intent. What is your after-action analysis of what the Iranians intended to do with that barrage of missiles aimed at Al-Assad Air Base?
They wanted to, again, as I said in this program earlier, Iran is a paper tiger. It doesn't really have an army. It doesn't have an air force. It doesn't have planes. This talk of war with Iran, from our perspective, is ridiculous. The American army is not about to march into Tehran. And there's just limited damage they can do. And you saw the limit of the damages they can do. So Iran is scared. They're scared of the United States, and rightfully so. Rightfully so. America not only is the greatest military power on earth, it has two of the largest naval forces in history, the 5th and 6th Fleet of the U.S. Navy patrolling off the Persian Gulf shores. It's the Iranians who would be shaking in their boots. We can't understand here why the Americans should be afraid of a paper tiger called Iran. Unless
they get a nuclear weapon. If they get a nuclear weapon that they can deliver on one of those missiles, everything changes, does it not?
But it's not an if, it's when. And the deal was never designed to prevent Iran from getting a nuclear weapon. It was designed to kick the can down the road. It was designed to keep Iran at nuclear threshold capability, the ability to enrich uranium as they're enriching it now, overnight, and create enough enriched uranium for hundreds of nuclear weapons within a very short period of time. And in the meantime, they'd be paid off. They'd be paid off with tens of billions of dollars and the legitimacy that they could use to conquer the Middle East and kill tens of thousands of people and to threaten my country's security, if not its survival. That is the Iran nuclear deal in a nutshell.
Now, Prime Minister Boris Johnson,
not telling the truth.
Boris Johnson has said, let's get a Trump deal with Iran. And I'm not opposed to that if it's a real deal and they do real dismantling and we have real inspections and we have real curbs on their export of terrorism and they stop making missiles. I'm not very optimistic about that. But I'm wondering what you consider to be the tripwire. What does Israeli intelligence to be considered to be the tripwire? America has now demonstrated they will use their missiles. We can't let them put nuclear warheads on the top of those missiles. What's the tripwire, Michael Oren?
Well, I can't speak for the Prime Minister anymore, but back in 2012, he gave a speech to the UN. Remember the drawing of the bomb that people made fun of?
Yep.
But that drawing was a very serious drawing. It said that if Iran surpassed 250 kilograms of uranium enriched to 20%, which is a very short distance from weapons grade uranium, then Israel would act. And my working assumption is that red line still holds.
And so, do you think we've got adequate capability to understand when they get to that? Do we have, between Israel and the United States, the ability to say they are at that line?
Yes, and I participated in years of talks at the highest level with our American counterparts. We looked at the same intelligence view. We looked at the same aerial photographs. We reached the same conclusion about the nature of the program. We just disagreed whether there were moderates in this government and whether you could reach an agreement with them. This is an Islamic, jihadist, medieval, terror-sponsoring state. You don't reach an agreement with it.
Agreed. Dr. Michael Oren, always a pleasure to speak with you.